Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Cross Culture Understanding subject. And today, with Miss Intan, we are going to learn about the culture shock. And today's learning objectives is that the students are able to understand the concept of culture, deviation from cultural norms, cultural clashes, diversity and identity, and also ethic approach. And today, we are going to learn not only about the culture shock itself, but also we are going to talk about the cultural preparations. Here, the cultural preparations involves learning and adapting to a new culture's values, norms, and practices before immersions. And here, before we come to the culture shock itself, we are going to talk about the iceberg model. As we know that the iceberg model, also known as the theory of omissions, was originally coined by the Ernest Hemingway to describe his minimalist writing style. In a broader sense, especially in cultural studies, it refers to the idea that most aspects of the concepts or phenomenon in the world, like culture for example, lie beneath the surface, unseen, just as most of an iceberg is submerged underwater. Here we can see the pyramids of the iceberg model. At the top of the pyramids, we can see the evident characteristic language, appearance, and fashions, which includes the evident culture. And in the second tier or the second pyramid, we can see the custom, way of living, friends, co-workers, or boss, and the lovers. We can also see at the bottom of the pyramids, we can see the time, space, and attitudes, which includes the fundamental ideas or values. And then at the top of the fundamental ideas, we can see the interpersonal relations and also the environment itself. And how to prepare yourself to see the deeper culture? Here, the culture shock experience when in different culture is like a roller coaster, so there are ups and downs, highs, and also low points. And culture shock itself is the sense of confusion, discomfort, disorientations, and also the uncertainty that might be felt by those who expose or who experience to a different cultural environment. And what causes culture shock? So first is that language, climate, religion, food, and educational system. And the second one is that how people make decisions, spend their leisure time, resolve conflicts, and express their feelings and emotions. And then the third one is the body language, such as the meaning of hand, face, and body movements can create a confusion and also the emotional stress. And then culture shock, why? And what may seem strange? First, for example, we take from the America side. America is a less socially oriented place compared to Indonesia. And Americans are generally very independent and do a lot of things by themselves. And Americans are usually very frank and direct. Americans tend also to joke around a lot. And then Americans may seem hurried or busy. And Americans may seem very casual in the way they dress, they talk, they act, and so on and so forth. Although Americans are very friendly, it often takes a while for them to develop strong friendships compared to Indonesians. Okay, and then culture shock, some cultural differences. First, when we attend the parties or events, international events or even national events, for example, in America, if you are invited to an event, you should not bring extra guests unless you are asked to host ahead of the time. And then the second one is the birthday traditions are different in the US compared to in Indonesia, where the guests usually pay for everything and the birthday person does not pay at all. It's quite different compared to Indonesia. And if someone invites you on a trip or an activity, it does not necessarily mean they will pay. Often, everyone will split the cost of activities equally. And then, when you meet someone new, in America, for example, some questions you should not ask. First is the age, second is religion, the third is where they live, the fourth is the marriage or relationship status, and then the next one is the sexual orientations, and then never ask about the weight or comment about the weight. And it is okay for you to ask about, for example, the siblings or the family, food preferences or food they like, and then job, extracurricular interests, and also where they grew up. Especially if you are a male talking to a female you just met, do not ask where they live, or if you can visit them at their home, they will be perceived as a romantic interest. So it's quite different like in Indonesia. And then on the phone usage, first is that do not answer the phone or call or messaging while having a conversation unless you ask the permission first, especially if the person is your senior or older than you. And then do not use phone, for example, for call or messaging during the lecture. And then it is inappropriate to call someone before 8 a.m. or after 10 p.m. on weekdays or before 9 or 10 a.m. on weekends. And if someone does not answer your message, for example, wait a while before calling again. Okay, here are the stages of the culture shock. So actually there are 4 stages of the culture shock. The first one is the honeymoon stage, the second one is the conflict stage, the third one is the critical period or the critical stage, and then the last one is the recovery stage. Here is the honeymoon period. We can see from the graph, there is a comfort level and also the time here. When, for example, you travel abroad or you, for example, experience a scholarship or the fellowship abroad, you will feel or you will experience this kind of stage, or we can call it as the honeymoon periods. So here, you think that everyone will love you, you think that everyone like you, and else here, you can say that I cannot wait to tell all my friends about this place because you love the place very much. And then you feel also exciting, amazing, and beautiful. All of the good feelings are in you. And then when you come to these honeymoon symptoms, you will see that you will feel the VIP feelings, or like everybody is nice to you, showing you around, taking you to places and else. And then you will constantly excited to everything in your new places. And then you will feel amazed, happy, and a lot of things are different. And then you are feeling curious to see more and more new and interesting things in the new place. And then the next one is that what is happening? So you will feel busy. You will feel busy about the registration, for example, the apartment, the bank account, and so on and so forth. And then you will observe the new culture and familiarizing yourself with your new environment. And then you will meet a very helpful and also the friendly people. And you will first social contacts with the members of the host culture, for example, and then seeking out new things to do and thoroughly enjoying your new world. And then you may feel proud that you can take such a huge challenge in the new place. And then this one, and then we come to the next stage, which is the conflict stage. This stage, you will feel that the people are so annoying, and then you will feel all the bad feelings coming to you after the honeymoon period itself. You can see on the graph that there is a comfort level and also the time. You will feel that I cannot wait to go home. We would never do that at home, and else and else. And here, the indicators of the conflict stage is that you did not meet the expectations at the very first time, and then you feel frustrated, and then you are unable to understand the feeling and also the conditions at that place. And then you feel doubt, and then helplessness, loneliness, homesickness, of course, and then feelings of inadequacy, depressions, and also the confusions with the conditions. And then what is happening? So desire for more personal relationships with members of the host culture, you feel isolated and out of place, and you may feel tired, sick, depressed, angry, and of course frustrated. And then growing awareness that your home culture's behaviors may not be accepted in the host culture. And you also may have to give up, suspend, or modify your own behavior, and then you will have the high expectations remain unmet and blaming the host culture for your problems, and you are not excited anymore about the differences but less tolerant. And then we come to the third stages, which is the critical period, or we call it as the critical stage. Here on the graph we can see the comfort level, also the time. You will feel that there is no reasons why they shouldn't do that, and also you will think that imagine if I did back home, or if I did it that at the home country. And then here is the gradual adjustment. So you are going to adjust. You are going to adjust to the new environment. You will feel that you are okay, and it's okay not to be okay. You will feel more relaxed about your situations. Confidence starts to grow, and then ironic humor replaces anger. You choose to become an explorer in the new culture, and you accept the challenge of self-reflections. You assume responsibility for your own culture adjustments. And here is the recovery stage, which is the last stage of the culture shock period. So here, we do that just differently, and then you don't understand them the way I do, and then I am beginning to like this. So you are trying, and then you start to accept the things that you cannot change. Here is the indicators of the recovery period that you develop the greater tolerance on how people think, on how people act, on how people eat. And then you become a part of the community at your new environment. Also, you improve the language skills itself. And then what is happening on this stage, you begin to understand why members of the host culture do what they do, and then you have finally made friends, and you develop a greater tolerance for what is strange and new in the host culture, and you become a mediator between your culture and your host culture, and then you are able to laugh at yourself, take yourself less seriously. And then how would you prepare for the downsides or the downhills here? So what should you prepare? A good preparation should be, for example, reading books, internet about the cultural differences of the host country, and then create a to-do list. Remember why you went abroad. And then how to overcome the downside itself. First is that you need to be objective, develop a routine so you will feel more like a member of the community, you will feel like a citizen of that country and not a tourist. And then make friends with the natives from your host country, as they can help you immensely throughout your stay. And then know your weak points when you are under stress, and then use your eyes and ears, but also use your brain. And this is the solutions during the culture shock periods. The first is that you have to get a regular stress reducing mechanism. First is, for example, if you are enjoying the sports, you can do the sports, and then you can listen to your favorite music, meditations, painting, teddy bear, whatever works for you when you are in the stress at home or at the place you are experiencing. And then you need to be more natural in your behavior. Allow yourself natural retreat. For example, do not eat the cake in one piece or natural aggressions. Use these valves for regaining orientations. And then the third one is that do not exaggerate. Watch yourself to not stick to your first flight or fight reactions. First reflect and then act. It's nobody's fault, it's a culture shock. Sleep it over before you make your judgment or even start doing or saying stupid things. And don't complain about host culture to locals may offend them. Okay, this one is the culture shocks, how to deal with it. So you need to get involved to the community college or even the activities on the home country or in the host country. So for example, the college campuses in the US have a lot of take advantage for it. For example, International Students Organization, Southeast Asian Centers, Students Activity Centers, clubs, and intramural sports and sporting events. And then you need also find out how to be a volunteer. Here, there are a lot of volunteer activities in the host country. For example, reading to children in the schools, visiting elderly people in nursing homes, environmental cleanup or trail work, or helping out at the shelters for poor and homeless people. And here also, how to deal with the culture shock is that you can keep in touch with your family or friends back at home. For example, you can make an email, and then also you can make a website. And also you can call your family or your friends, and also you can send the postcard or you can send a mail to your friends or your family. And then the next one is that the things that you do not need to do when you are dealing with the culture shock. For example, that join only with the Indonesian communities or other communities too, and then group with the same students every semester. You need to change your literally like friendship on the communities, and then you isolate yourself is the thing that you do not need to do during your culture shock period. And then this one is that how to adjust to life in the US, for example. For example, when you are having a trouble in the speaking English, for example, so people in different areas have different accents and dialects. It may take a while to figure out what locals are saying. So ask people to slow down. They won't mind, and it will help you understand a lot better. And when you talk with locals at first, speak slowly and don't be afraid to make a mistakes because it is a part of the learning process. And then the second one is that take American humor, wit, and sarcasm as a mark of friendliness rather than disrespect, and ask about the words or abbreviations that you do not understand, like poli-sci or political science or TA for teaching assistant, for example. And then here are the safety precautions in America, for example. So you need to carry only a small amount of cash with you. People usually use a credit card to pay at shops or restaurants. And then lock your doors and secure your windows and keep the passport and valuable hidden. And then whenever possible, travel in groups and stay in well-lit, populated areas. And if you are at the party or a bar, do not leave your drink unattended. And if you lost or confused, remain confident, calm, and seek help immediately. And also, you can also call 911 as the emergency telephone number. Okay, here also, the crime problem in the United States. So you have to avoid the bad parts of the town. You may find out the alert from the campus or from the town. And then you need to be very careful at the night. For example, you need to stay on the well-lit streets. For the women, better to walk with someone and then use the university shuttles, for example, the bus or the taxi. And then use the university public safety officials and also the emergency phones. Okay, this is the end of the session, which we talk about the culture shock. So don't forget to find out more videos or more references regarding to the culture shock. So I close these sessions. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.